Any questions?
Guys, questions? I know you got some.
How large is this vocabulary?
Endless. The vocabulary it goes as far as you take it. Yes.
You personally prefer old school hip hop or new school?
There's no such thing. There is no old school hip hop. There is no new school hip hop. There's just hip hop. Okay, what you think is old is going to be done again, and is done now. The step we did, the crisscross, we called it the crisscross or the party machine. Before us, it was called the scissor kick Charleston in the 20s and 30s. Now, your generation calls it the SpongeBob. Is it old or is it new? Exactly, it's just dance. Dance is eternal. Okay, what you're doing now will be considered new. In 10 years, it won't be considered new. It will be considered something else. And something else will replace it that was already there, that someone else just discovered. Okay? Old school, new school, those are reference points. Okay? Because if you say we're doing old school, then that means what they were doing in breaking is older school. And before breaking was rocking, which is the older school. And then before rocking, there's salsa. And before salsa is Lindy Hop. And before Lindy Hop is gospel. Before gospel is ballet. Before ballet is African. So is African the ancient school? Jurassic school? Okay? Exactly. It starts to sound ridiculous. Exactly. It's not old school. It's not new school. It's the school. Because you're always learning. Yes.
So, when did you start dancing, and how did the scene back then differ from how it is now?
Okay, how old are you? 23. Okay. So 11 years before you were born, that's when I started dancing. And when I started dancing, the scene consisted of people going out and partying. That was the scene before I started. That was the scene after I started. That's the biggest difference between our scene then and your scene now. You guys don't party. You practice in front of a mirror. We dance together. You dance with this. This doesn't give you anything back. Okay? That's the biggest difference. We dance because of the music, not because of the mirror. Not because we wanted attention. We wanted to share. We wanted to express ourselves together. And whenever there's music, we dance, regardless. I've danced when I had a 103-degree fever. I danced when I had stitches from surgery for a hernia. You know, I went to the club because I met T-Boz from TLC. And I went to the club and I'm dancing with T-Boz. And we're going hard. And suddenly she stops. She said, "Oh my God, you're bleeding." And I was like, "Oh, that's nothing."
I want that TLC.
Yeah, because I was dancing with T-Boz. That was important. So that's the difference. You got to remember why. The why is the most important. The why is the music. If you don't love the music, then how can you love the dance? The dance doesn't exist without the music. Okay? The music is what pushes the dance forward. The music explains the dance, and the dance explains the music. That's why they created music videos, because the video shows you exactly what the artist is about. When you listen to it, it sounds like something, but when you listen to it and you see it, it's extrasensory perception. You start to use more senses, and that's why it connects. So, move to the music, for the music, and because of the music. Without the music, guess what? There's no studio. There's no greater than. There's no hip hop. There's no house. There's no salsa. There's no ballet. There's no African. There's no dance, period, because dance explains music. Yin and yang. It's like time and space. You're going to meet somebody, they say where. And then you say where, and they say what time. Because you can't separate time without space. You can't separate music and dance. It's yin and yang. One explains the other. Next question. Yes, sir.
So do you have a favorite form of dance outside of the branch of hip-hop?
Yeah, my favorite form of dance is actually locking. It's the last dance that I learned, and the first dance that I watched on TV. That's why I think I love it so much, because I used to watch it and not understand what it was. But I mean, I love just to dance. It has nothing to do with hip hop. I danced before there was hip hop. You know, my family danced. When we used to go, if we went to a family function, I had to dance. My parents would make me dance. My cousins would make me dance. My sisters would make me dance. You know, everybody had to dance. So that's, you know, part and parcel. You play the music, I'll dance to it. I don't have a particular love. I mean, the first one that I fell in love with was popping. That's my first love for the dance. But, you know, what I really love the most and, you know, the purest expression for me and the most fun is locking. But I love hip-hop, I love house, I love dancing, period. Yes?
Can you recommend any good resources where we can learn more about everything?
The first resource I could recommend is the music. Listen to more music. Not just hip-hop, not just R&B, but music in general. You know, listen to all kinds of music and find the connections in the music. Once you find the connections in the music, you'll understand the connections in the dance, because that's how it's connected. Everything is interconnected, and the connections are what make it interesting. As far as learning, learn from whatever source you can, but realize that you're only getting a part of the big picture. So you get a part of the puzzle. So when you speak to me, you're getting a part of the puzzle. If you speak to Link, you get another part of the puzzle. Speak to Mr. Wiggles, you get another part of the puzzle. You know, speak to various people involved in the culture, and then you put those pieces together to create the bigger picture. That brings you a greater understanding, because no one person knows it all. But as a whole, we represent it all. So you just put it all together. When you talk to Don, you're talking about to the source of locking. But there are others that have contributed after him. If nobody contributed after him, no one would know about locking. So you got to piece together all of the stories, and the truth is somewhere in between. And therein lies the most interesting part. You know, that will help you, you know, form your own opinion and your own dance and your own, you know, outlook. Yes.
Another question. At present, 2016, there are a lot of groups of people who claim to be doing hip hop, which may or may not be the case. So, what do you consider to be hip hop, and what isn't hip hop?
Whatever represents the culture is hip hop, because hip hop is a culture, not a dance. There are 3 forms of dance that represent the culture, and 2 other forms that have been adopted by the culture. But it's cultural, you know. It's, I mean, it's like me going to New York and trying to represent your culture. I can't unless I'm representing you. Otherwise, if someone else from New Zealand saw me, they say, you're a fucking fraud. Excuse my language. You know? That's the point. You must represent where it comes from. You must represent it as a whole. Otherwise, you know, how can you say you are of something? It's like me saying I'm related to Donald Trump. That's obviously not going to happen. No one in their right mind will believe that. So when I see people saying that they do hip-hop and it has no connection to what I know hip-hop culture to be, I look at them like the same way you just looked at me when I said I'm related to Donald Trump.
So would you say going out to the clubs and dancing would be the best way to like improve?
You don't have to go out to the club. This is your club. turn the lights off, cover the mirrors, put some lights on those balls, get a DJ and play some music, get some people in the room and go hard. And then go home if you want to. When we didn't have a club, that's what we did. We rented a studio, covered the mirrors, had it set up the DJ booth, charged people $5 to get in, and we had a packed house and we rocked out. And the best thing about that is we didn't have to have, there was no alcohol involved. I mean, there was alcohol involved, but we didn't have a license for it. But we rocked out, and no one could tell us anything. And that's what we did when we didn't have a club. And that's what we still do when we don't have a club. The party is here. You got to bring it out. Yes?
This might seem like a stupid question, but
There's no stupid questions.
how did you get gaining the knowledge for all the styles that
Listening and practicing. Okay, when Don Campbell talks, I'm here. And when Tyrone Proctor talks, I'm here. When Mr. Wiggles talks, I'm here. When Sugar Pop talks, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm applying what I'm learning from them and watching what they're doing and watching what everybody else is doing and putting the stories together and coming to my own conclusion. And then I take what I hear and what I see and I go in and practice it. So I know what I'm talking about when I decide to talk about what Sugar Pop taught me, what Popping Pete taught me, what Don Campbell taught me, what God bless the dead Greg Campbell Jr. taught me, what Scooby-Doo taught me, what Ken Swift taught me, or what Tight Eyes taught me, because I'm learning from everyone. And, I write stuff down. There's a bunch of, gibberish in my phone. And if you actually read it, you wouldn't know what the hell it was because it's, things from all over the place. But I know exactly what it is when I look at it. And I try to remember, what I heard. And then when I share it, I say where I got it from. Any other questions?
If you don't mind.
That's why we're here.
So, how did your views on dance in general, or how have they developed from since you were young until now?
Well, my views changed because my age changed, and more importantly, my experience changed. How I viewed things when I was younger, I was naive, and I thought I knew everything, until my father screamed at me, and then I knew nothing. But I listened, I always listened to what my dad said. I always listened to what people had to say. And then, I took it all in and I did whatever the hell I wanted to anyway. But at least I understood and listened. And as I grew, I started to understand that what I know is a small fragment of what there is. And what I listen to, one person's story, that's not the total story. I got to speak to multiple people and put their stories together to get to the truth. And that understanding only comes with experience. You can't get that. There's no secret formula for it. That's why there's a quote from, you guys have to know who this person is. He passed away, God bless him. Muhammad Ali said the person that thinks the same from 25 when they're 50 has wasted 25 years of their life. Okay, because you're supposed to accumulate experience, and experience brings wisdom and understanding. All the knowledge in the world is useless if you don't know how to use it. Any other questions? If you have any more. Oh, well, he has one.
So, you've worked with MJ before, right?
Yes, twice.
Describe your experience working with them.
Okay. Outside, I have two daughters. Signore, Sade. And outside of that experience of having my two kids, MJ is the best experience of my life. I got to, okay, I'll tell you a simple story. When I started out popping, I had a partner. His name was Stretch, yeah. But we used to dance together all the time. But then Thriller happened. And Motown 25th anniversary happened. And my friend Flex became a Michael Jackson addict. He had the hat, he had the hair, he had the gloves, he had every jacket, he had the socks and the penny loafers. He had it all. He had every nuance and movement that Michael did. He knew all of the songs on the album. And so one day we're out practicing, and he's practicing being Michael Jackson. I'm practicing popping. And my father happens to come up on us, and he's watching him and me, and we're listening to MJ. We were actually, I think we were popping to Billie Jean.
Hey.
At least I was. And he comes to me and he says, "So, you guys like Michael Jackson?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Your boy loves Michael Jackson." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You like Michael too?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You want to be like Michael Jackson?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "No, you don't." And I looked at him strange, and he said, "You don't want to be like anybody. You want to be better than Michael Jackson." And I was about 15 at the time, and I thought my father was crazy. Because, like, I couldn't fathom what he was talking about. But about less than a decade later, I was in Los Angeles in a studio like this, and I called my dad. I said, "Pop, remember when back when I started, and it was me and Dexter practicing, and you asked me if I wanted to be like Michael Jackson?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "What did you tell me?" And he said, "I told you want to be better than Michael Jackson." I said, "Okay, I'm teaching Michael Jackson right now." And that's me giving thanks to my dad, and he understood it immediately. My dad doesn't brag about his son. At that time he did. Now my dad's 71. That's all he talks about. My son's always on the road. But then, he didn't really tell people about what I did. He told his closest friends. But, he was absolutely proud of me. And that was the moment where he felt like, okay, that was me letting him know, I got it, Pop.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Could you explain the connection between the history of African American culture and street dance?
Okay.
So,
I'll try and do the shortest version possible because that would take days.
They're ready.
All right. So basically, everything that we do is from a point of oppression. Okay. America likes to act as if what we went through, slavery, or what we call being prisoners of war, didn't happen. But because of that, and because of all the oppression, we needed to find a way to get around the stress. To get around the stress is music, because music is a cultural celebration in all cultures. And from that is how you got first gospel music. Gospel music gave way to what they call ragtime, the precursor to jazz. Then jazz, then swing, and then from swing you got to the blues, and then the blues you got rhythm and blues, and then rhythm and blues gave way to soul and funk, funk to disco, disco to hip hop to house, and on and on. So each thing is interconnected, just like all of the people are interconnected. And the cultures are always intertwined in that oppression, because that oppression still exists to this day. It's 2016, and financially we've gotten a lot better, but from the standpoint of cultural equality, we're ways off, and that will always be reflected in the culture of what we do, whether it's hip hop, whether it's rock and roll, whether it's jazz, whatever it is, it's expressed through the culture, because that's the only place where you can express yourself freely. They can't control that. They can't change that. That's why they fear that, because what we do brings everyone together. It puts everybody on an even keel to share and to discuss. No one person in the culture is higher than the next person. everybody, it's a meeting of minds. When minds meet, they're here, not here. It's not teacher-student. It's person to person. That's what makes hip-hop culture or street dance culture in general so powerful, because it brings people together. I did I worked with the U.S. government for in a country called Kyrgyzstan. What is it? Republic of Kyrgyzstan, and they had me teaching classes to rival ethnic groups. And to me it made no sense, because I didn't understand how could they be rival ethnic groups when everybody looked exactly the same, you know? And I explained that to them, and they explained to me, you know, that it doesn't make sense. And so, you know, they were asking me, well, how are you going to go about to do this? And I told them I taught in Israel, and I had Palestinians and Hebrews in class, on either side of the class. But guess what? When the beat dropped, there were no Palestinians, there were no Israelis, there was hip-hop. Everybody was on the same page. And I said, when I do here, when the beat drops, all of your ethnic tribes and groups and all of that is gone. The beat drops, everybody drops with the beat at the same time, and everybody's on an even keel. That stops all of that. And they were amazed that I said that, but then I had video to back up what I was saying. I showed them the class, and they were like, okay. And when I went and I did the classes, that's exactly what happened. You know, all the hostility was expressed in the dance. And after they expressed it in the dance, they had conversation. Any other questions? You can ask me.
Okay. Just giving other people space.
No worries.
Okay. I guess I could branch off what you were saying. You kind of explained what you given an answer. As for international dancers who are entering the scene and the culture, how do you feel about the fact that it was something created by African American culture, yet other people are potentially using this without giving credit? And how can we better go about doing so?
Give credit. It's that simple. It goes back to what I said before. If I went home and I wanted to represent Maori culture, I would have to say where it came from. Otherwise, I'm a fraud. I'm Christopher Columbus. Don't be Christopher Columbus. Yeah, you have to represent where things are from, you know. And it's the thing that trips me out is teachers or dancers in general will not mention the people that they learn from as if that's going to take away from them. It doesn't. It actually makes you stronger. You know, my teachers, Sugar Pop is my teacher, Greg Campbell Jr. is my teacher, Tyrone Proctor is my teacher, you know, Link is my teacher, that's my best friend. I taught him first, he taught me more, and we're still teaching each other. Loose joint is my teacher. I learned locking first from loose joint. I didn't know anything about it. You know, now when we lock, I know more about locking than he does. But we learn from each other, and there's nothing wrong. It's called each one teach one. You know, that's the problem. Put aside your ego and understand that. You know, they say old dogs can't learn new tricks. I don't bark.
Okay guys, just to wrap things up, Stretch Bro, you already know, thank you for sharing your love and your knowledge, dance with us and the culture. We really appreciate it, and I don't think we can truly express our gratitude, man. It's
No worries.
very humbling. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.